Today I'm talking about you guys being punks.
Yes.
So, you guys know one of my phrases, right, is pressure to power. Pressure yourself, you get a reward in the form of power. And the power means personal power, right? It's about climbing your own personal ladder. It's about seeing some sort of progress. Well, pressure is a very relative assessment of what's going on in your life. When it comes to training, one of the things that happens very, very often is people are really fired up in the beginning, and very, very soon they start dipping off, and we don't see them. They're hanging out with friends, they're hanging out with other people that are doing other things and other hobbies. You have guys that are going they're in softball leagues and rugby leagues and this other nonsense. Right? Who could I be talking about? But the thing is, they stop trying to do what they set out to do when they started. And it's not only for reasons of just boredom or I just want to switch it up, I just want to change it. What I'm talking about, those people that it starts getting hard, starts getting difficult, and they start shying away from it. Now, one of the places we see the biggest drop-off in the school is when you guys are ready to start sparring. If you guys are ready to start sparring, you should be sparring. There's really no other way to look at it. If you guys are ready to spar and you choose not to spar, you are being a bitch. There's no other way to put it. I have people who have told me before that they want to fight MMA. And this isn't just sparring. I want to fight MMA. MC, you got a second? Absolutely. Come on in. Have a seat. MC, I want to fight MMA. Well, if you want to fight MMA, I want you to fight MMA. That's pretty much what I say to everybody who's ever come in and said that. And then a lot of them, they take their first MMA class. And it's like a scene out of a horror movie. You know, like where they're trying to get away from the zombie or Jason or Freddy Krueger or something, but they're just sparring. And they're giving me looks like, do something. You know, like, what are you doing? This guy, like, their best friend that they've been training with for months now is punching them in the face. And they're looking at them like, why are you hurting me? What are you? And there is this disconnect where all of a sudden this big comfortable area, this big comfortable environment, right, the jungle gym, suddenly became a place where they were uncomfortable. If training here ever becomes uncomfortable, ever becomes comfortable, it's because you are not pushing yourself hard enough to continue to climb your personal ladder. If I use the example, the analogy of lifting weights, some people, you know, you put the bar, it's 45 pounds, you put it on them on the bench, right, and they're having problems doing it, right, because hopefully they're a 9-year-old, right, because everybody here should be able to bench the bar. But anyway, so you start putting weight on, you get a little stronger. And then it gets really, really easy. You put on a plate, it gets really, really easy, but then you decide, you know what? Whenever I put on more weight, it gets hard again. I've already done that. I want to enjoy that it's easy now. I've done the weightlifting. I'm strong enough, I don't have to do the bar, I can put a plate on, so I'm good now. And they stay there. And that's the person that all they want to do is the pad work class. All they want to do is the blitz class. They don't want to do anything, any ground and pound. They don't want to do the stand-up sparring. I don't like getting punched in the face. Who the hell likes getting punched in the face? Right? So the whole thing is, there's a certain point where you have to remind yourself what it is that we're doing. There are plenty of benefits that you get from being here. You make friends, you get in better shape, right? You learn a bunch of techniques. You're able to compete in competitions. But the whole thing is, we're trying to prepare ourselves for a reality that is becoming more and more unforgiving, day by day, out there outside in the streets. Right? I was just talking to somebody who was reminding his kids, when things pop off on the train, you see, that's why you got to train MMA. Because you never know when things are going to escalate. So there's a certain point where, if you are training in the jungle gym, and you cannot handle yourself, either psychologically or physically, if need be, out there, you are dysfunctional. you're wasting your time. I'll take your money. You show up, buy the shirts, I'll sell you the shirt. I'll have every single month, absolutely pay me. But you are doing a disservice to your process if you shy away from the pressure on the 10th rung that you couldn't wait to encounter on the first rung. Right? We lose track. And I was talking with somebody the other day of, they had seen an arm bar. No, it was an arm bar or a choke. Oh, I think it was Flacco. Was I talking to you? About the choke? You saw the choke and you were like, oh yeah, like, this really works? Yeah, right? His first day. And I've been doing jiu-jitsu so long that I forgot what it's like to not know that chokes work. But in the beginning, it happens all the time. People come in here and it's like magic. You can control people, you could break their limbs, you can put them to sleep, you could do all these different things that we do as part of training. But there's a certain point where we lose track of that exposure to something we don't know. And we say, oh, we're good now. Well, you were good before you joined, and something pushed you to go beyond that. So whenever it is you reach that point where you need to step it up a notch, don't get mad at us when we remind you need to step it up. Don't get mad at us. Remember I had one guy come in, and I love the guy. Great dude. Came in, wanted to fight. Took one sparring class. The next day, he showed up with his gi. He became a gi guy after that. One MMA class. Right? And I'm not saying you guys got to fight MMA. I mean, you should. But I'm not saying you have to. Right? But you have to, at some point, get punched in the face. You have to, at some point, get punched in the face. You have to. Who here has been punched in the face in the jungle gym before? This is who we are. This is what we do. Not everybody. Raise your hands again. Who here has done sparring before? All right, so keep your hands up. Alexis, you trying to fight MMA? No. Steph, you trying to fight MMA? Yeah. Crazy woman. Yes. I knew not to call on you. She's out of her mind. Don't follow Steph. She's crazy. Put your hands down. If I go around and ask individual people here, are you trying to fight MMA? No. But they're still getting punched in the face for a reason. Why? Because they were at that point where they were ready for it. You don't want to be the person that dedicates their life to training martial arts. You go out, somebody slaps the hell out of you in a parking lot, and you start pissing your pants. That's just embarrassing. Don't think it doesn't happen. Don't think it doesn't happen. If you expose yourself in training to something that never reaches reality, you are a dysfunctional martial artist. You don't have to get punched in the head repeatedly. Right? Everybody's all paranoid about, what is it, shaken brain syndrome? I don't know what they call it. Right? Everybody's all like, I get it. All right, it's not that serious. You weren't that smart to begin with. Like, come on. Right? But the whole thing is, if you go through training past a year, who here has been training past a year and has never been punched in the face? Punk asses. Right? But this is the point. There's a certain point where what is it that you're doing? What are you scared of? I'm not saying you're scared. But most people, who here has been punched in the face within their first month of training? Right? Right? Now, not exactly a collection of Rhodes Scholars, but the whole thing is, there's a certain point where if you're ready for it, it's waiting for you. And if you're moving away from it, it's because you are shying away from the pressure. Well, I'm just not into, I just don't want to put, I'm not telling you have to fight professionally. I'm not telling you have to do an MMA match, but there's a certain point where I don't want to hear about, I just really want to do the gi. Okay, go join one of those schools. Like, go where you can roll around with people all day long. And you're completely safe while you train violence. There are a lot of non-violent martial arts schools out there. This is not one of them. We train. We fight. Everybody here fights. People are always surprised when I say, that everybody here trains gi, no gi, and, striking. Well, don't you have like just a gi class? No, we don't do that. Because there is no gi reality. There's no gi reality. There's no striking reality. There's reality. Everything that we do prepares us in a collection of skills for that. We don't get to dictate what that is. Right? We have a good friend of mine told me that no man should walk outside of his house with flip-flops on. Because the man that walks outside of his house with flip-flops on is saying, I'm not going to get into a fight today. Right? So I stopped wearing flip-flops outside. Now, I happen, in my defense, right, my little insecurities pointing out right now, in my defense, I fought in flip-flops before, and I did very well. Right?
And barefoot.
And barefoot. You've seen it, right? Right outside. But the point is, we don't get to decide if we're going to have a fight today. If you ask somebody, you ever been in a fight? Yes. Well, why are you wearing flip-flops? Well, I just want to be comfortable, but you might get into a fight today. Well, I'm probably not. Well, the days you got into a fight, did you leave your house knowing you were going to get into a fight that day? No. So right now, you don't know if you're going to have a fight later. It's just logic. So don't wear flip-flops. Yeah, but I like being comfortable. Okay, but just understand what you're exchanging then. Right? You're the guy that's saying, you know what? I'd rather wear flip-flops than be a man. It's black or white. You got to keep it simple. Right? You got to keep it simple. Or warrior. Right? Warrior. Person kind. Right? So, in summary, and I'll ramble all day because this is a hot topic. If you guys are comfortable here, it means you're not training hard enough. It might mean you're not training enough time-wise, but usually you're not pushing it. Now, listen, I'll be the first one to tell you. Mastery, Warrior, these are more expensive programs. So when you upgrade, it's going to cost you more money. I don't make any bones about that. All right, so let's get that out of the way. But the whole thing is, everybody that you see sparring, men, women, and sometimes children, they've all done it. So it's not like we're asking you to do something for the first time in the jungle gym. This is what we're about. There are a lot of non-violent martial arts schools out there. This has never been and will never be one of them. Right? We push the envelope, we pursue the pressure, because it's the only way we're going to climb our ladder of power. Everybody understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you for listening.